It's an understatement to say I'm excited for Breath of the Wild 2. But that doesn't mean I don't have my fair share of concerns and fears when it comes to how the sequel will turn out. Sure, there's the fear that the story might fall into the same pitfalls as the original, and the game might lack traditional dungeons. But today, we are talking about my biggest fear for Breath of the Wild 2. Something that could make or break this game, and something that must be executed right. It all centers around this one comment. One of the reasons we wanted to create a continuation was because I wanted to revisit that Hyrule again, and use that world again, while incorporating new gameplay ideas and new story. Hey everybody, welcome back. I have been playing way too much Animal Crossing lately. That is probably why you have not seen a new video. But today we're back, we're talking about Zelda again, and it's a good one. It's interesting topic here today. So there's been something on my mind for a while now, and that is a worry that's been on my mind. And you know that worry because I just read it to you. And that is a comment that Mr. Xenogamer, that man, made at E3 2019 about the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and it is a little concerning. I mean, not at first, but if you kind of look into the implications of it, it can be seen as a little concerning. I know a lot of you are probably saying right now, oh, that's dumb. It's just a comment. It doesn't even matter. So what if they're reusing Hyrule again? It's fine. I like Hyrule. Well, here's the thing. Have you ever thought about why you like Hyrule so much? Have you ever thought about why Hyrule in Breath of the Wild is such a great place? It's a sense of discovery you get from discovering it. I ask you to look back to the first time you jumped off the Great Plateau in Breath of the Wild. And I know you probably can remember that moment because it's a pretty big moment for everybody in the game. It's a very defining moment of the game, and it defines the sense of discovery throughout the entire game. As I'm sure you've heard many people already say, Hyrule in Breath of the Wild is basically a character. It's very integral to the plot, just the overall gameplay, and just everything about the game. And that's part of what makes Breath of the Wild so special, and that's why I'm a little worried by this comment. Now, before we jump off the deep end and say that reusing Hyrule in Breath of the Wild 2 is a horrible move, it's going to ruin everything, I want to talk about some of the pluses that move does bring up, because there is a good side to him saying this, and them reusing the same Hyrule. Number 1, cut down on development time. Now, this is a pretty obvious one, but developing a world that big as Hyrule in Breath of the Wild, a very, very large map, 12 times the size of Twilight Princess, that takes a lot of manpower, a lot of work. Those are basically the same thing. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, developing a game world takes time, especially if you're going to be meticulous and make it a good game world that has layers of things to do and all that. And another point in the favor of reusing this Hyrule is one that Aonuma himself said, which is people connected with this Hyrule. They love this place. They've spent countless hours in it in Breath of the Wild. They would love to see it reimagined and changed. Like, imagine you're walking by, I don't know, Lake Hylia, and instead of a dragon popping out of the water and all that crazy stuff, I don't know, maybe a giant gorilla pops out. I don't know why, but what if that happened? This is my greatest point in favor of reusing this Hyrule, which is subverting expectations, because that is a powerful ally. I mean, just like exploring the world again, but like everything's different. Imagine towns come back. You can actually see Hyrule Castle Town. Or imagine Hyrule Castle's floating in the sky. Like, we might actually see that. There is evidence for that one, at least. There are a lot of things you could do to just change this Hyrule and make it different. I'm just still worried that's not going to be enough. But I want to bring up another big point in playing through Breath of the Wild, which is the first time you find a civilization, be it the Rito, the Zora, the Gorons, or the Gerudo. Did you know where you were going? Or did you just wander into this place? Because that's exactly what I did. I knew I wanted to go to the Rito village first, and I knew that the giant bird floating in the sky was most likely my best bet. So I just made a journey on over there, and I had no idea where I was going. If you reuse the same Hyrule, those kind of experiences are lost. We know where these locations are. We know where everything is. It might be changed, there might be new things in different places, but for the most part, a lot of that discovery is lost. And that's the point I'm trying to dig at here. I'm worried about losing that discovery, because that's what makes Breath of the Wild, Breath of the Wild. So how exactly do you fix this problem of losing a sense of discovery in a game about discovery? Well, you have to reinvent it. And there's a lot of ways that Breath of the Wild 2 can do that, and a lot of exciting ways. And that's what makes this game so exciting. I mean, it's also worrying because, like, change is new and different, and who likes new and different? I just like what works, you know? But, like, change also brings out new things like Breath of the Wild, for example, because that was change. A very easy way to alleviate some of these problems is to also add on. To not just have the Hyrule we know and love, but also maybe some of those borders that you could barely not reach in Hyrule. Like, down by the Gerudo Desert, there's an area where you just hit an invisible wall. There's the giant canyon over by Rito Village and all that over there. You can make new islands. I'd love to explore new places like Eventide. Eventide is awesome. There are a lot of ways that you can expand this world. There's also talk of underground areas, because we see that in the trailer. Maybe that's more of a gameplay idea than we actually thought at first. Maybe that is more integrated into this world than just being the beginning of the game or part of this trailer. To fix up the regular world, though, we've already talked about subverting expectations. That'll be a very big part of how you can do that. But also you can do that by just adding new things, making the world feel more alive. You can add in full voice acting, maybe. I don't know, like every single NPC talk to you. I'm thinking like a game like Red Dead Redemption. You have like hi and howdy, and then they just like hurl insults at you, and it's great. That would be kind of cool in Zelda. And just like more NPC interaction in general. Breath of the Wild was about an interactive wild. I think we can have more of an interactive overall world in this game. Have humans actually do more, except just stand there and be beaten up by bokoblins. And then, yeah, just more ways to interact with the world. I was looking down at my notes if I had anything else. No. Just more ways to interact with the world. If you guys have some ideas, leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear about some more. The bottom line is Breath of the Wild 2 still has a lot of unknowns. And this is just one comment that I latched onto and got a little worried about. Now, I've already said there are plenty of ways you could fix and make up for the lack of exploration in the sequel. It's just, is it really a sequel to Breath of the Wild then? Because exploration and discovery are the name of that game. It's a complicated topic, really, but I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about it. If you have any thoughts. Do you think that Breath of the Wild 2 will suffer from using the same Hyrule again? Is it gonna ruin the experience, or are they gonna make up for it in brand new ways? Is there gonna be that Hyrule and just like a totally other land as well? Just like two overworlds? That would be pretty cool. Light World and Dark World. I just now thought of that. You could do that. That's a great way to subvert expectations and just make it more cool, interact with the world. It really could be anything. There's a lot of unknowns, and that's what makes talking about this game so exciting. So I'm hoping you guys enjoyed this video. It was just a little rant discussion thing, I guess, what I'm thinking about in my head sometimes. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, maybe comment about the things I already told you to, and I will see you guys soon. We'll have more Zelda theories and other videos as well, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.